It is episode 162 of Left Side Heavy, the podcast. It's it's your host today, Junior. It's your host, Jeff Lefebvre. We got host Hayden Barton on as well, and we got two very special guests joining this episode. Reoccurring guest, very good friend of the show, Ian McNaughton. Been on the show many times. You know him, you love him, and we got Matt Nelson rising from the deep episodes from way back when of Left Side Heavy. Welcome back, buddy. I'm glad I caught you before you fell asleep. And buddy has 1,600 fives in his email, so my arm got tired typing it out. But Matt Nelson, welcome back to the show. How you doing, buddy?
It's good to be back. I'm living, I'm surviving. I'm here. I'm watching hockey, so can't complain.
Can't complain. But Hayden, you're uh you're
Sir.
you're fresh off a Mexico trip. How was that?
Oh, man. It was fucking awesome. My first time ever going down to Mexico, and I'm leaving the airport off of Puerto Vallarta, and 2 minutes in down the road, I see someone get robbed. And then I also see the military slash policeman run them down, AR-15s in hands. The buddy and the accomplice were like, yeah, we're caught. And meanwhile, the policeman is just like aiming the AR-15 right at his chest. And I'm like, welcome to Mexico. But yeah, no, it was a good time. I burned, obviously, no matter how much sunscreen I fucking put on.
Yeah, naturally.
But it's kind of turned into like a pretty nice tan. I've checked out
You got some
the
color.
yeah, checked out the like hip to like lower knee part of my legs, and it's just pasty fucking white.
Yeah.
And everywhere else has color. So it's like, you know what? Successful trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was fucking phenomenal. Duncan's grandma's place was unreal.
Elite. Nice.
Absolutely. And yeah, I brought a couple things back for the fam, including this, since I have it on my desk, and I'm giving it to my dad, but it's like a skull and it's like BC Lions on it. So
Oh, that's dope.
yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
That's fire.
And yeah, I got a lot of pesos and change with me right here too.
Nice.
So yeah.
Love that for you.
Yeah.
But glad you had a good time, brother.
Oh, it was a great time.
McNaughty too hottie. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's the weather's changing at least here. Like I have been fortunate enough to go to Mexico to see nice weather. I've only dealt with the nice weather here in the Northwest, but it's starting to feel like summer. Starting to feel like a hot boy summer. It's starting to get there slowly but surely.
Yeah, it's like hey, went to Mexico, but it's no Dauphin, Manitoba. I'll tell you that for free.
I'm sure it's no Everett, Washington either. It's nothing spectacular compared to Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah.
It doesn't even compare.
Dauphin cracked 20 today, though. It was a very beautiful
What?
day today.
Wasn't it snowing like a week ago?
Yep.
Unreal.
It was. Yeah, there's still snow on the ground in some places, but like just in patches. Went golfing, Dauphin Lake. Can't say my expectations were high, but it somehow didn't meet them. So
The course or your game?
both. More so the course though, but it was opening day, so like fresh off of snowfall, it's gonna be a little like sludgy kind of thing, like just spongy everywhere. The greens were just punched, so it was just very soft, but it was like their second day opening the course, so it's like you can't really ask for a lot. But I chipped in for birdie on a par three. Is that good?
Ooh.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a 5 foot Texas wedge just off the green. I chipped over a mound and it rolled in. Not a big deal. And then on a par four, fourth shot, haven't hit the green yet. Texas wedge. It was going about 500 miles per hour. Hit the pin and went in.
Wow.
Saved par, baby. It was after the chip in. and like maybe 4 holes after. And the guy just looked at me and he's like, "What the fuck just happened?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like I didn't even get a chance to celebrate because it was like to save par. So I couldn't really like I was just like, "I don't know." He was like, because he had the side angle. He's like, from my angle, if it wasn't hitting the pin, it was in the trees. That's how fast it was going. I'm like, "Oh, I know." That's why it didn't really have any business going in, but it found its way in, so I didn't complain. Finished with 92. Not too bad. Can't ask for
It's
much
early.
from the
A
game.
lot of golf left.
Yeah,
Lot of golf.
a lot of golf to be played. A lot of golf to be played. But my wallet's crying. But I haven't yet, so we're fine. All right, let's get into some playoff talk
Oh, you're not
here.
even gonna ask how Matt's doing?
I already
Doing
asked.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He did at the beginning.
Yeah, he was the first one, buddy.
I'm lost.
Yeah, your head's still in Mexico.
I am still in Mexico. Fuck
Yeah.
me.
And the reason why I didn't want to ask Matt how he's doing is because I already do. So we're gonna go straight to it. We're gonna rip the band-aid off Matty Ice. Bruins, after a record-setting regular season, the Florida Panthers took them to a game 7, and Swaggy Verhage finishes them off in overtime, bar down. Matt Nelson, lifetime Bruins fan. How are you doing?
I'm
How are
I'm
you
good.
feeling right
I'm
now?
recovered. You know, bright side is I don't have to stress about watching the games anymore. So, I find the silver lining. Yeah, I was surprised. That's the way to put it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
So-
have if I made 1,000 brackets, I wouldn't have ever had that happening. So, especially being up 3-1 and then losing 4-3. But fuck, man, I don't.
Just
I don't know.
speechless.
As a
Yeah.
Boston fan, who are you cheering for in the Florida and Toronto series?
If they could both lose, that'd be somehow.
Just
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
all their players get hurt and it's in the game 7 and they're just tortured. I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I don't know. Fucking.
But yeah, so like kind of I feel like storyline of the series was Boston's goaltending wasn't what it was throughout the season. I mean, in 6 games, Allmark had a below 900 save percentage and 20 goals against. He was like a minus 1.82 goals saved above average, whatever that advanced analytics is. But Jeremy Swayman more so put in a tough position rather than just a bad performance, because kind of happened with Fleury last year for Minnesota. He was thrown in a game 7, do or die with his first game of the series. Kind of same thing with, or was that Cam Talbot who was put in? I think it was Talbot who was put in game 7, but Jeremy Swayman, just tough spot. Couldn't really pull it together, but Boston in general just looked like shit. But Matt, what was like the one kind of thing that you honed in on with Boston's performance?
I mean, I watched every game except for game 4, and I mean, I don't wait too hard on Allmark because like when they won, he played great. Like, he had like over 915 or in every win. So
Yeah.
not to worry about him. And then the loss is like it wasn't like really him that I thought was playing bad. It's like the Bruins couldn't defend. And the game 5 loss, like I thought, I mean, I wasn't like too upset after that loss because the Bruins are the better team. Like they outshot them,
Yeah.
and way more scoring chances. They just couldn't, like, I don't know. Florida was really good at blocking the puck. Like I didn't even like particularly think that Bobrovsky played that well. Like I don't think it's just one of those games that like they should have won, but they didn't. Game 6 was a fucking hard to watch. It's just like every time they got like, back in the game or got the lead, they blew it. And then I don't know. I thought game 7 was a really good game. Like it was a really good hockey game. Both teams played well. It destroyed me seeing them score with 1:30 left. And after that, you definitely kind of like it's like, okay, it's not happening this year. Like it's Florida's series. Like they,
Yeah.
storybook for them. Yeah, I don't know well, I don't want to say this, but Bruins didn't play the same really starting game 5, and that's when Bergeron and Krejci got back into the lineup, or at least Bergeron. And I know like doesn't really matter how good your team's playing, you're gonna put your captain back in the lineup, but like the thought has seeped into my mind, like, what if they didn't? What if they kept the lineup that was up 3-1 and just played it out?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's questions they gotta be asking that team there. I don't what happened. They didn't look like they could defend or make plays, and they had some weird stat of like they killed like what last 45 penalty kills in a row going to that series. And after the first two games, they still had that streak. But as soon as Florida broke that streak for them, Florida just kept scoring on the power play. Right. And so did the Bruins. But I don't know. Just everything fell apart and it just
At the worst possible time.
things. Yeah. But what
Well,
I will say is because I'm very defensive and I try to weasel my way out of things. Last year, those two teams were like the roles reversed. Like Florida was the best team, and the Bruins they were in that second wild card spot or that first wild card spot. So I personally thought that this year that the Bruins were way better than they should have been. Like it was weird. Like they were like the team last year was nowhere near the team that they were this year. So I don't want to say overrated, but maybe a little bit. Right.
that's fair. I had them in the wild card spot, and their roster didn't really change much from like I was surprised like how I knew like they had the capabilities of doing good, but I did not see this good, like best team ever good.
Yeah, it was
And
just like, I mean, at least we got that right. So
yeah, I mean that's fair.
Yeah,
But
it's just tainted now with a disappointing first round knockout, which
yeah,
is super shitty. I also saw a stat where it was like the difference between these two teams was 42 points. And if you
yeah,
break it down even worse, it's like 21 games. 21 1 games. Like that's just oh man, that's painstaking.
yeah,
yeah,
It's good to see that you're alive, Matt.
yeah. The phone was on do not disturb for a good 24 hours. Or something
Oh, I
like that.
bet.
that's
I bet.
fair. Yeah, no, 100%. Ian, what did you dissect from the series?
Matt like brought up a really good point about, especially in Game 7, it just felt like Bergeron and Krejci were just making weird mistakes, like just weird plays with the pucks, weird decisions, just not what you were expecting from them, especially during the regular season. Yeah, the Bruins were probably overrated, but I think we all like, hindsight's 2020. I probably would pick the Bruins again, like just because they're that good. Like they were the best team in the regular season ever. And kudos to Florida, who never gave up. They just kept pushing. They just kept playing. They kept doing their thing, and Boston had them until they didn't, and until they gave up a goal like with a minute left in the third in Game 7. It just
Yeah,
now what?
Yeah, it's also like the belief was there in Florida. Like they didn't really care about standings or anything. They just believed in each other. And Matt Kachuk, that guy has played massive. He had 11 points in that series. Brendan Montour kept pace with his unbelievable regular season. Verhaeghe stepped in when he needed to. Like Sam Bennett was banging bodies left, right, and center. And like I just think Florida really attacked from all levels of their roster, and I think that was just Boston wasn't. I think they were just too slow to act on that.
The Florida really, like, it's kind of a cliche, but Florida really had nothing to lose.
Yeah,
They went out, they played with nothing to lose, and as a result, they bested the Bruins. Like that's really, that's really what happened. They just played with nothing to lose, and they got it done. And now they're playing Toronto.
yeah, 100%. Matt, I gotta ask you this: were you surprised they went Swayman Game 7, or would you have maybe put Swayman in for Game 6, see how he played, and then make that decision for Game 7 on whether or not to go all Mark or Swayman?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised, but at the same time, like, I don't know, like, it wasn't like a shock. Like, I was like, oh, like they put Swayman in, like, I guess they got to try something. Like they've lost, two in a row. Like they haven't looked good. Maybe it would have made more sense to put him in Game 6, but even though like he wasn't like his numbers weren't like great in Game 7, like he made a lot of good saves, and I don't really like blame him for the loss at all. Like that was just, the team kind of it was a close game, went to overtime, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the first goal I didn't really like, but I mean, the Bruins gave it the puck. It was a turnover that's caused by, I think it was Clifton. Just
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not surprised he started, I guess, or I'm not shocked, but I don't think that would have played it. I don't think if Allmark played game 7, it would have gone like completely different, right? It could have gone worse for all I know. So
Yeah.
I thought he played well for not playing the first 6 games.
And
So
I'm not necessarily blaming it on him. It's just such a tough position for him to be in, like not playing all series. And it's like, all right, do or die game, like go in and try and backstop us to a win. I'm just saying, like, game 6, there's at least a little bit of cushion for him to be like, all right, there's not like as much pressure on you. Play, we'll see how you do. And then if we go with you game 7, you at least have a game under your belt.
no, yeah, I think that makes more sense. But I think in the time, like what the first game where the first loss for Allmark when they lost like what 6-2 or it was that third period that got away from the Bruins. So again, I don't blame Allmark for that. Like I think the numbers are exaggerated for him in that game.
Yeah.
And like I said, game 5, close game. Game 6, it was like a team loss, right? So
What was
yeah.
your reaction to the hand pass that was called back?
Well, it's one of those things where if it was like Florida did the Bruins, I would have been like, oh, of course. But like, I don't know. I didn't really like it, but I can, I like to follow the rules. Like he hit it with his hand to his teammate. That's a hand pass. It led to a goal, right? So
Yeah. And that's what I was like. That's what I was saying. I'm like, it's a shit like situation because that wasn't a hand pass. But if the puck hit off the top of his palm or like the top of his hand and went to him, that would still be a hand pass because by rule, if it hits any part of your hand and goes to your teammate, it's legally like a hand pass. It's just like, it's a shitty like gray area rule, but like by definition, it is, and they have to call it. It's just I was surprised that you could review that.
yeah, I don't like that you can review those little things. Like when one of the whatever game was where the Kings beat the Oilers in overtime, where they had like the high stick, like
Yeah.
I personally didn't like. Obviously, that review went LA's way, but I didn't think that should have even been up for review. Like that was just, I don't think it really affected the play, and I don't know.
I was trying to figure out where, like, in chronologically that high stick happened because it must have happened like a bit
At least a few
before.
passes before the goal went in.
Yeah. Whereas, like, there's a lot of time between to like figure that out. But, Hayden, I wanna go to you. Like, I know you were in Mexico for like majority of the first round, but, you must
It's
have
okay.
still,
Illegally streaming works.
yeah, exactly, 100%. But, we were going back and forth a bunch about this series a lot because you followed Florida a lot this year, especially Swaggy Verhage, who was one of the bigger players in the series, but just in general, because of the prominence Boston had and Florida was pesky and some of the games were high scoring. We talked a lot about the series. So what was your kind of point of view on this series and
My
just how
point
it
of
kind of
view,
and how it
man,
broke out?
it was. I was talking to the boys about it when we were in Mexico. Obviously, Duncan and I were kind of like the two that were talking hockey, more or less. But even when everybody was, watching the games, because it's like, it's sports,
Yeah.
playoffs, like, of course you're going to watch it. I was like, after it was 3-1, I told Duncan, I was like, the only way Florida can win it is to outscore Boston. And they have the firepower to do it. They have depth. And then Boston just has to play very, very strategic and not sloppy. They can't take penalties because as soon as, like Matt said, as soon as the floodgates open for power plays, boom, it just came on like a fucking racehorse. And one thing that was actually really interesting about this series, whoever scored the goal first of the game won the game in
Yeah.
every game. And even when it was bleak looking for Florida in the last minute, and Montour scores that goal, that tying goal, and to win in overtime, it's like, this is unreal that A, this trend is keeping up, and B, the fact that none of the goalies for Boston really like had a really great game. And I also want to touch on, I can't believe they put Swayman in game 7. I thought they should have done like what you're saying, put him in maybe in game 6 and then see about game 7. But like, holy shit. I couldn't imagine what Swayman was feeling. It's like, I haven't done anything, and now you're asking me to come and pull out this win out of my ass.
Yeah. I just find it such a hard position no matter how good your goalie's been playing this year. Like Swayman's numbers were top 5 in like
Amazing.
two of the
numbers.
major categories for goalies, but I don't care how good your stats are. It's just such a hard position to put your goalie in. It's like do or
Absolutely.
die game. You have to go in and play. Like I just think the game 6 one, it's like he didn't play. Ullmark didn't play great in game 5. May as well throw him in. Throw Swayman in game 6, see how he does, and then make your decision for game 7. It might make it a bit easier. But also, like, Ullmark apparently was playing hurt all series. So it's like if he's playing hurt, why wouldn't you start Swayman earlier?
Yeah,
It's
that
just
doesn't
like,
make sense.
and reports are coming out like Bergeron was playing with a herniated disc, so that kind of goes along with Matt's thing. It's like if he's hurt with a herniated disc, why are you gonna
Yeah, why are
ruin
you
the
playing him?
like the mojo in the lineup right now that's got you up 3-1? The I think the coaching, I just think it was being overthought, and it was like save Bergeron, let him rest up until it's game 7, or because I think throwing in a player for game 7 is different than throwing in a goalie for game 7. Because a player,
Mhm.
yeah, you run 4 lines. So keep Bergeron, you're up 3-1, keep Bergeron out until you need him for a do or die game in game 7. Roll with the lineup that's got you up 3-1. And then if you win, then he has rest till round 2. Like, I just think that makes sense. But obviously, Ian, I think you alluded to it. Hindsight's 2020. Like, we can look at everything that went wrong, but it's just so tough seeing. I was genuinely like speechless when Boston lost. I was like, I can't believe this happened.
Yeah, this is the most shocking. Like you could also say Toronto winning is shocking because it's Toronto, but this is the most shocking, I think, result of the first round. I don't know how many people would have taken Florida outside, and especially even Florida fans. Like I'm sure Panthers fans are like, yeah, it's kind of nice to get into the playoffs again.
Panthers
But
fans, they just know that they have a team in Florida. That's all.
Yeah,
the
facts.
the
Like, wait, we have a hockey team?
the Miami fans are like, God damn it, the Heat aren't playing tonight. What else is on?
Yeah.
Who's these Florida Panthers? Is that in?
Crazy, actually, that the Heat and the Panthers upset the 1 seed.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
That's fucking insane, actually. I just thought about that.
Yeah. Well,
God damn.
Florida's keeping their momentum going right now. They're up 4-2 against Toronto with 5 minutes left. So
Yeah, Brandon Montour scored the 4th goal. So
yeah, actually, that guy's actually fucking crazy.
he's insane from the blue line too.
He's insane. And before Florida tied it up, we'll quickly touch on this. I was like, I just have a feeling Montour is going to step up big, and I just think he's going to score. It was more so like when they had the power play right before they scored. I was like, Montour's scoring here. I just know it. But then he ended up scoring even strength. And I was like, that guy's just been stepping up massive.
Huge.
And last point here that I have, as much as Florida kind of choked this away, you got to tip your hat to Florida because they played absolutely unbelievable hockey and they deserved every ounce of moving on. But any more on this series, or should we give Matt a rest?
Yeah, give me a rest.
All right, respect.
Better to get it over with first.
Toronto ends the longest fucking drought in Stanley Cup playoffs. After 19 years of not moving past the first round, a series win, I guess we should say, they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in 6. Captain Johnny T banks it off of Radish's skate and advances them in overtime. This is going to be like a where were you moment. And as much as it's just a first round series, but people are gonna be like, where were you when they but Matt, I'll go to you here. Toronto moves on. What did you kind of see from this series and just everything?
Well, after game one, I wouldn't have thought it was going to happen. But I mean, you look at last year's series, and it's kind of like the same thing, roles reversed.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, man, I guess they together, they actually closed out a series. Good for them. I really didn't think this, especially with Samsonov in net. Like, I didn't think this was going to be the year. Like, you say like the Bruins was shocking. I thought this one was pretty shocking too, because like
Yeah.
it seemed like Tampa would be like, okay, like, they won game 5. Like they're gonna come back, they're gonna win it in Tampa, and Toronto playing doesn't matter where they're playing. Toronto in game 7, I wouldn't bet on them ever. So,
Yeah.
historically, no,
Yeah.
they played well like as a team this year, and I didn't think this was the year for them. I still think they're short on defense, and I still don't think Samsonov's a good goalie. I think that's showing tonight, you know. But no, good for them, I guess. One more thing for Leafs fans to talk about. So that's great. But yeah.
Yeah, I just realized we kind of sewered Matt really bad there. Like talked about Boston losing and be
Yeah.
like, hey, let's talk about your arch
Hard
nemesis
part's over.
events.
Yeah.
Great segue, Jevin. Great segue.
I'm not just a pretty face, Ian. I'm not
I
just a
thought
pretty
you
face.
said we were
Right?
gonna give Matt a break, and then you just
Fucking dagger deeper. But Matt doesn't have to talk anymore. It's fine. I genuinely thought that Tampa was gonna win just based off of Vasi over Samsonov. Like I think if Vasilevsky just plays like a bit better, then I think Tampa wins this. But I also think the wear and tear is a proper narrative in this series. Like they've been to 3 straight cup finals, and like I think a lot of it was like they were up and they just couldn't hold a lead. And good on Toronto for like fighting back and like not necessarily giving up. But like game 4, I thought that was like, holy shit, like Tampa's back. And then they just blow that fat lead. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? And Samsonov played great when he needed to. And it was enough for them to advance. And John Tavares ended the Islanders series win drought against Florida, and he ends Toronto's series win drought. So shout out for Toronto. I honestly think that this weight off their shoulders can unleash them on a run, but it's also who knows. But huge weight off their shoulders, and the memes are over now. The memes are over.
definitely. I think Vasilevsky was probably like we're talking about bad goaltending with Boston. Vasilevsky, I've never seen him play as terribly as I have ever seen him play in that series. He really didn't have like one standout game to me. You know,
Yeah.
he let in a bunch of goals, and even I saw one report where it was like, um, he was gonna get pulled, and he was like, no, I'm not actually, and just went out on the ice in between like second and the third period, and it's like, Jesus Christ, man. No, when it's not your day, but at the same time, he probably has earned to never be pulled.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we were talking about this last week. It's like he's earned that power to be like, no, I stay. It's like, okay.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. It sounds
All right.
good.
Yes, sir. It's kind of like when Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh was like, Lamar, you want to go for it? Yeah. All right. Go for it then.
All right, sounds good. No,
But
100%.
no, but do you guys agree with not playing Michael Bunting when I think it was game 5 when they lost? Do you think Michael Bunting should have played when his suspension was over?
I was anti-Bunting. I would have kept him out of the lineup because it's kind of the same thing we talked about with the Bruins of like you were already
Yeah.
winning, you put those guys back in, and obviously it's a different outcome. but you were winning without Bunting. You got a couple up extra, bullets in the chamber if it doesn't happen in Game 5. It didn't happen in Game 5, so they went to Game 6, and it worked out in Game 6. So I think Keith did the right thing there. I think that was the right thing to not play him in Game 5, but then put him back in Game 6.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's just like when the game was going on, I was like, I feel like they could use a Michael Bunting type player right now because it was like super physical and chippy. But obviously, if you've won 3 in a row without him, don't really mess with that.
But then then you're like, oh shit, like, hey, we know what we need, what we're missing, and what the extra element is for Game 6.
Perfect. And they threw him in, and they won Game 6. So, not necessarily saying he was the reason, but it obviously must have helped rejuvenate the lineup. But
I was gonna say there was also no Justin Holl either.
Oh my God, that guy was so bad that series.
Here's the thing. He should have been taken out before Game 1. Then they swept Tampa.
Yeah, it was unbelievable how bad he was playing. Matt, this is a perfect opportunity for you to talk right now because it's bashing the
I was gonna say Justin Holl or Willie Desharnais. Who would you rather have?
What is it?
The Edmonton defender?
Vincent Desharnais or some shit like that.
Is it Vincent? Oh, I thought it was Willie. Okay.
Willie was the coach for Vancouver.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But Matt, Justin Holl, how bad was he this?
Didn't look good, but like I said, like they don't have the depth, right? Like, what do you expect? You got Morgan Riley, and then Giordano is like a good veteran, and TJ Brody's okay, in my opinion. Not like elite by any means, but I'm just watching Toronto not be able to finish chances here. So
Bobrovsky standing on his head.
Yeah, Bobrovsky's he's hot. Like they could go a long ways with him. So
yeah, like this is Bobrovsky when they swept Tampa. Like it's just holy fuck. But no, yeah, they should have put Liljegren in like before Game 1 even started. It was just it was nightmare fuel for Toronto with Justin Holl on the ice, and they probably could have at least it could have been more competitive. Like they didn't have to claw back as much to win games if Justin Holl was out of the lineup.
It's not only taking out Holl, it's doubling down and going 11-7 without Justin Holl. Like it's kind of fuck you. I kind of respect you for like 7D, and you are not one of those 7D. Sorry. Better luck next.
Just an extra slap in the face. All right, yeah, that's enough. Toronto beats Tampa in 6. The drought is over. I was genuinely like, holy shit, I can't believe this happened. It was crazy. But Ian, we're going to yours. We're going to your boys because you're the only one in our playoff predictions to guess the Kraken, and you guessed the right amount of games. All I had to text you was release the Kraken ? And you're like, that's what the town is saying, baby. How are you feeling as a crackhead right now that your team has moved on past the defending Stanley Cup champions? You must be buzzing.
I don't think I actually picked Seattle. I think I just said I think I said Colorado in 7, but I said watch out.
Oh, I thought you picked Seattle in 7. But maybe you said
maybe I zagged. I think I just said like Seattle's gonna give a tougher fight, and
Yeah, you honestly might have said that. Let me check back, but
hot takes were flying throughout that.
Yeah, you said Avs in 7, but you did say watch out for Seattle. You did.
And Seattle came through, and Seattle played their goddamn hearts out. Good Lord, that Game 7 was insane.
It was fucking crazy. That offside was insane though. Like we thought Nate Dogg tied it up, but no, Lehkonen was about 3 feet offside, and it was just like, okay, all right, buddy, what are you doing?
Here's the thing. It's not great when Oliver Bjorkstrand has more posts than you have goals. That's not great. Not a great recipe to success. I'll say that much.
He got 3 posts in like the last 10 minutes of the third. I swear, like it wasn't even just the whole game. He was hitting the posts left, right, and center. It was insane.
Yeah.
But Matt, what did you think about the Kraken taking down the Avalanche, making history? First, I can't remember. It felt like a cherry picked stat a bit, but it was like first um team to defeat the defending Stanley Cup champions in their first playoff appearance or something like that. It was very cherry picked stat, but they got into the record books. But Matt, what did you think about Seattle's efforts?
Yeah, and one of those things too, like I never would have had them in the bracket winning. As you know, they played really well this year, given that. And the Avalanche, even though they finished first in their division, like I don't think they played that well this year. Like they kind of at the end they hyped it up a bit, but no, I good for them. Like I'm kind of getting like Vegas first year's playoff vibes from them right now.
Yeah.
Like oh well, like on paper they don't look like they should be winning, but they are, and it seems like they're all playing to a high level. So see how far they can go. I think Grubauer has something to prove. He proved it. No, I was surprised, but on Colorado, like without Landeskog, without Nichushkin up to his shenanigans down in Seattle, whatever that may be.
Yeah,
That.
Yeah, that's something I forgot to talk about last week. He was escorted away with the cops because apparently he got into some altercations downtown Seattle. But that's
Yeah,
kind of all I know
allegedly,
about.
allegedly.
Yeah, but hopefully everything's okay with him. But carry on with what you were saying, Matt.
I mean, it just looked like McKinnon and McKinnon, Rantanen, and McCarr were like the only people on the team that were like really out there every night, right?
Yeah.
Last year just seemed a little different when Colorado playing. Like all four lines were always buzzing. Yeah, I think losing Kadri does play a big role because that's a reliable centerman, right? Then you can kind of split, or McKinnon Rantanen up and actually have a guy that one that could feed off of. But no, man, so it's hard to do it back to back, right? And
Yeah,
I also don't
100%.
think Georgiev's that great of a goalie. I think last year they got lucky with Kemper not playing that well. Like, I don't think you can go back to back cup finals with goalies who are like playing okay, no matter how good your team is. So
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I think Landeskog was really massive. He holds that team together really well. And not having Kadri and trying to play like Lars Eller in that role or Alex Newhook, I just don't think it's quite gonna cut it. But I think this kind of proves that you don't really need those superstars up front to go on a run. Like Seattle, I just felt like they kind of worked 1 to 4 just at a very pretty high level, I guess. And it was just they come at you in waves and it's almost just kind of hard to prevent. But Hayden, what did you think about this series?
It shocked me to shit. I called Colorado in 5, saying that McKinnon wasn't gonna let this happen. He played good, like Matt said. Like it was him, Rantanen, and McCarr. Those were like the three. Seattle has fucking depth
Yeah.
at every line, and I agreed more with like what Matt said. Like all 4 lines for Colorado last year were buzzing. Nothing was buzzing. Nothing was going on. It was Seattle, and that called back goal was just the absolute dagger to Colorado fans and Colorado players everywhere, because I feel like the life just went out of that building and Seattle took its chance.
Yeah.
The Kraken climbed the mountain.
Amen, brother. No, I totally agree with you there. But Ian, what were you gonna say?
To Hayden's point, McKinnon is gonna have like 5 points next year. The next time he plays Seattle, like his next.
Yeah, his next game is gonna be like his Batman revenge game or some shit.
Yeah, he's like, "Fuck you guys! You guys took this away from me. I am gonna make who I am."
Yeah,
and like it's gonna be some November in Denver, and you're gonna have 5 points. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh wow, look at that!" Like, no, that dude is going like whatever the LeBron meme is. What McKinnon will be.
McKinnon's gonna have like 2 goals, 3 assists, a fight, a spear, a slash. He's gonna have a full score sheet. and
He's gonna flip the bird at somebody against the Kraken next year, and it's gonna
yeah,
be hilarious.
yeah. He's gonna be doing everything that game. He's gonna be running wild. So better hold him on a leash. But yeah, I want to get to the Eberle hit because Eberle hits Cogliano from behind in game 6, if I'm not mistaken. No suspension, which I think caught me by surprise because I think the hit was way worse than Cale Makar's. The circumstances were a bit different. The puck was actually in play for Eberle's hit. Cale Makar's wasn't. But I think hitting a guy straight on the numbers headfirst into the boards and then not giving him a hearing or suspension really caught me off guard. And maybe the injury that Cogliano sustained is coming into play a bit, but when you fracture a guy's neck hitting him from behind, I feel like there has to be some sort of repercussion coming from that. Am I taking crazy pills or is someone going to agree with me?
No, I agree. I don't know how you can suspend Makar and then turn a blind eye to a hit almost the same or if not worse.
Yeah, I just think like the hit itself is like way worse on all levels. Like even if
absolutely
the puck in play or not, I think the hit is just like it's so like standard of what you're not supposed to do. And the fact that he didn't get anything from that is kind of wild to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ian, Matt?
100%.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like running through the stop sign is what we would call that, right?
Yeah.
It just basic. It's just obvious.
Yeah, I just think I was very surprised that nothing came from that, and I definitely think like Eberle is a big part of that team. He's not like gonna move the needle incredibly because, like we said, like Seattle has a very even roster, lines 1 to 4, where like I think someone can slot in for Eberle pretty well. But if you take him out of that lineup, something might change, and I think Seattle and Eberle got away with one with him staying in the lineup for game 7. Because I was very surprised that he wasn't suspended. But hopefully Cogliano gets better because fractured necks suck. Oilers. Oilers beat the Kings in 6 games. Let's fucking go. Did I get nervous? A little bit, but I mean, what a hell of a series. What a hell of a game 6. It was pretty insane. Many ups and downs. Hayde, your thoughts on Edmonton, LA?
Let's go. Oh my god. Yeah, if there's one team I'm cheering for, I don't know if that's made obvious, but it's the Oilers. I am part of oil country. It's not hard to cheer for the best player when the best player literally just so magical. But this series definitely goes, the MVP goes to Draisaitl. There was a point when he was on for all 14 goals, I think it was, or something like that. So he was fucking insane for the first 3 games, and he kept up his craziness. And best power plays like this playoffs has to offer. What were they like?
They were 57% at one point.
Yeah, that's insane. It's like, oh yeah, what do you know? Oh, they get a power play. Oh, they're scoring. You could make a bet and it'd probably hit.
I mean, you're making money if you're betting on every power play because they're 57%. It's
exactly like you're hitting one in every 2. So it was just an electrifying series, and a great game 6. And like I was surprised how good LA stood up to Edmonton. Korpisalo played some really great games, but then stinky games. But you could also say that for Skinner. He is a rookie, first playoff series ever. But credit to Jack Campbell coming in and winning them. What was it, like game 4 or something like that. In
Game 3, I think.
a yeah, absolutely.
Jeffin
To
frozen.
Jeffries. Yeah.
There he
Yeah, it
is. He's back.
froze.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, we might have to cut that out. But yeah, my Wi-Fi isn't great up here. But Hayden, what were you saying there?
I was just saying it was an electrifying series. If that could be like every series, I would not be upset.
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset either. Ian, what did you think about the series?
I think it went about as expected. Jevin, I have a good story. One of my buddies' girlfriend was asking me, because she's an Oilers fan, like, I want to get an Oilers jersey of a player, of someone who's not bad, not going to get traded or released. And she's like, should I get a Klim Kostin jersey? And I'm like, I have not thought about Klim Kostin for more than 5 seconds total in my life.
Seems like a great glue guy, though.
Great glue guy, after she brought him up, like, dude had a great play, like great round, like just. So I think
he had a great game 6.
Yeah, he had a great game 6, and it's just like, well, shit. What do I know? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Did I just hear about this guy when the series started? For sure.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
is he going to be signed to a 10x10 by Ken Holland this summer? Yes.
It's really, like, getting a Klim Kostin jersey is really the hockey equivalent of, like, I'm not like other girls. So, like, if you go get a Klim Kostin jersey, go for it. Now's the time to do it. Stocks have never been higher on Klim Kostin, but
Honestly, those jerseys might be more expensive now because they see what the stats
The
that
value.
yeah, the value is just skyrocketed for him.
It's probably gone up a whole $20.
She probably messaged him and said, like, hey, I'm buying one of your jerseys. Can you perform for me? He's like, fuck yeah, I can.
Yeah.
All the baddies in Edmonton are talking about Klim Kostin.
All the baddies in their F-150s.
Yeah, it's like Jordan Poole turns into prime Jordan when he sees a baddie courtside, and Klim Kostin turns into Gretzky when he sees a baddie in the corner of the press box or something. Like, all right, time to turn it on, baby. Just snipe.
Anyway, that's
your breakdown. That's your breakdown. Love it, Matt. What about you? What were your thoughts on the series?
I think they had to win. If Edmonton didn't win, kind of be funny, but still. We have like a guy, what do you get? 153 points, 163 points this year? McDavid?
165 or 64 or something.
164.
Right. Yeah. Not embarrassing on him, but embarrassing on the team. Like, if you can't get past the first round with that. And I also don't. I mean, I think LA is a good team. I don't think they're a great team. Like, Kopitar and Doughty are still great players, but they're past their prime. And I think the team will be good. But like, one of their names like really stick out. Like, I'll go, that guy's a superstar.
Maybe not
Kempe.
superstar. Maybe not a superstar, but Kempe is just
goal scorer.
He's just so good. He turns up in the big moments, but like, he's a star. Kempe's a star, but he's not necessarily like on the McKinnon, Rantanen, Draisaitl, McDavid. He's not on that tier, but he's like top 50 player.
Arvidsson also really turned it on the last half of the year so far.
Yeah. Arvidsson's a very good like depth top middle six
streaky
forward.
guy though. He's always been a streaky guy.
Yeah. He's a really good middle six forward, but like, I'd say Kempe and Fiala are like star level, but
I like Fiala too, but again, like, another talk about streaky guys. Like, those guys are key, right? And Fiala was injured a lot this year, wasn't he? Or was that last year?
Yeah, he was injured.
Yeah, he was hurt a bit this year.
But that kind of feels like LA. Like, we can talk about all those guys, and they're all good quality pieces. They do feel like they're one star away. Like, it feels like the Kings are like one more, in my opinion, one more star. Like, We can talk about Philip Deneau all we want too, but like it does feel like the Kings are like one more star away from like getting past somebody like the Oilers or getting to like the Stars level, like being that elite of a team. Instead of being a good team, they could be a great team with another star.
They're just one more Klim Kostin away from going on a run.
Yeah, exactly.
The LA killer, just get him on your team.
There's gonna be like 15 to 20 GMs go over to summer. It's like, so what's the availability on Costin? It's like he's an RFA, like he scored 20 points this year. Why is everybody? Yeah, so
LA's like
first round tender.
It's like we want him. It's like, all right, first round pick, Brant Clark and Kevin Fiala. And it's like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, this guy eliminated you last year. You better give up your entire team for him, buddy.
That's the market. That's what the going rate is. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's what the going rate is.
Yeah, exactly. Who did McDavid make Costin, or did Costin make McDavid? We'll never know, honestly.
Don't mind the regular season. The regular season is not the playoffs, buddy. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Who really turned up when you needed him most, Costin or McDavid? Right? McDavid might have more secondary apples, but Costin has the goals, baby. Oh man. Yeah, and this is what you usually say. We've hit Costin talk. Now it's time to move on, right?
Yeah. Now we've hit the Klim Kostin portion of the podcast. Now we got it.
One more thing I do want to talk about, or I guess a couple more things. That Skinner broken stick really shivered my timbers, if you know what I'm saying.
Dude, that was insane.
Yeah, he didn't know his stick was broken, went to go play the puck. His stick completely went over it as soon as he put 1 pound of weight on his stick to make a pass. Stick went right over it. Pizza right to Deneau, tied up the game. And I'm like, you motherfucker, Skinner, I swear to God, you're making me lose hair by the minute. And then Kyler Yamamoto from the fucking clouds just sends a CNI shot and puts him out front. But what were your, like, when you saw that Skinner had broken the stick, like, did you think like, oh shit, nothing's going Edmonton's way right now? Like this is LA's winning this game. Because that's what was going through my head. I'm like, if that shit's happening to Edmonton, there's no way that they win this game.
Absolutely. I just thought when Skinner whiffed on it, I'm like, oh, you fucking idiot. How do you whiff on it? But then I saw a video where Kempe slashed it and broke it. And I'm like, how do you not realize it? But then I'm thinking about all the times that I've played like goalie and like shit like that. Your stick's on an angle.
Yeah.
Tell you go to shoot it. And I'm like, fuck, he really must have been like not even realized it. And then yeah, for that to happen, to whiff over it and get absolutely nothing on the puck, I was like, of course that would happen. That would fucking happen. And then for LA to tie the game and for me to just sit on like the edge of my seat for the rest of the time being until Kyler Yamamoto throws an absolute like bird.
Yeah.
Korpisalo didn't even fucking see it. He's like, oh, that definitely went over. Meanwhile, every Edmonton player is celebrating. No, that was I was like, holy shit, Yamamoto made a play.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, well, did you like kind of watch that LA goal live when Skinner whiffed on it?
After the Leafs game ended, it was enough hockey for the night.
That's fair. That's fair as a Boston fan. I gotta respect that. But yeah, like Hayden with the Skinner broken stick, I don't understand. Like I don't see like how he would realize it because goalies aren't really utilizing their stick often throughout the game.
Exactly.
So like you wouldn't have a reason to notice until he played the puck. It just turned out that it was in front of the net where he had no other support, and it was an LA player chasing him down. So it was just a bad time to find out that his stick was broken. It would have been much better if it was a behind the net play where he had no pressure on him.
He had no pressure, yeah. Also, what a play by Deneau. Absolutely risking it for the
Yeah, I mean, also like that's the reason why you don't. That's why like you don't peel off too early. Like that's why you always pressure because you never know
100%.
if you peeled off and Skinner had done that, you would have been like, fuck, if I just kept going, I would have put the puck in the net.
Exactly.
But do we think LA pushes hard this offseason for a star of some sort? Like, do you think they maybe go for a DeBrincat because it's not guaranteed he'll re-sign in Ottawa? Do they go for like that type of player, or do you think they just kind of settle with what they have now? Or do you think they kind of make a push to go on a run?
The DeBrincat on the be nasty, in my opinion.
Yeah, it'd be gross.
I like that move.
Matt, Ian, what do you?
I don't think to stay.
Pardon me?
I'm just looking at who they have expiring this year.
Yeah, they got a lot of old pieces. They got to do something.
DeBrincat would be cool. I feel like LA is a team that's gonna try and wait out and see. Like they're gonna try and wait out and see like what Calgary does. Like if Calgary's gonna go into a rebuild here, what kind of Calgary pieces might be available? Or it's not, I don't think it's a great free agent class this year, if I remember, because like I'm pretty sure the Toronto media is putting Michael Bunting up there as like a top free agent. It's like all right.
All right.
Sure. But I do feel like the Kings are not a team that will rush into anything. Like if they see a deal they like, that kind of is the vibe of LA. Like if they see a deal they like, they're gonna go for it. That's why they got Fiala. That's why they got Arvidsson. That's why they got Deneau. We've been talking about their young core for a few years now, but again, it feels like the time where like you need a superstar or a star, probably somebody to replace Kopitar as your top line center, and somebody who and maybe it's two players, maybe it's a center, and maybe it's another guy like DeBrincat who could score 30 goals for you. That's probably what the Kings are really needing if they want to go all out and like put their balls on the table per se.
Yeah.
Yeah, there really
agree.
actually isn't a lot of free agents next year. Ian was definitely right. The top of the list actually is Patty Kane, and then Jonathan Toews, who might retire.
Patty Kane really showed up in these playoffs, huh?
Oh my god! And then Ryan O'Reilly third. So
yeah, there's a lot of old heads,
yeah.
and it signed like a 1-year deal somewhere. But Matt, do you think LA makes a push this offseason, or do you think they kind of just settle with what they have, run it back another year, and then kind of go from there?
I think they're probably gonna run it back because like they'll let their younger guys maybe another year under the belt. But I'm just looking at their goaltending situation. Like you think they're gonna keep Korpisalo, right? Like easy UFA this year, and then they're paying that Peterson guy $5 million for the next 3 years, and then Phoenix Copley was their backup for most of the year, right? Like I don't know what was it? It's Blake, right? Or so he's Minnesota. Who's GM of LA? It's not Rob. No.
Yeah, Rob Blake.
Yeah, it's Rob Blake.
What does he want to do? Like I think he signed Korpisalo, but then you have to dump Peterson probably.
Yeah, that's a great contract. Nope. Yeah,
he was the guy 2 years ago, kind of for them. So
yeah, I think that was just a rushed signing though. But
I think next year they just gotta hope they don't play Edmonton, and then there you go, first round.
For real.
Yeah.
For real. All right, let's we'll move on to the next series. And speaking of Patty Kane, the Rangers choke a 2-0 series lead and lose to the Devils in 7. Shesterkin, he was definitely not the reason why they lost. He was first in every goalie category, like advanced analytics kind of thing. He had a .939 save percentage, which was first. He had a 5.88 goals saved above average, and his high danger save percentage was pretty high, almost 900. Like he had a really good playoffs. It's just that he had 0 goal support on the other end, and you could applaud Schmid for that, for coming in and recovering what Vitek Vanacek left out there, but also first overall, second coming of Crosby and Alexis Lafreniere had zeros across the board in every single game this series. And Panarin had, I actually have the graphic here of every player who had more points than Panarin these playoffs, and I'll hand it over to you guys right after this. Jesper Bratt, Nick Perbix, Ian Cole, Max Domi, Ivan Barbashev, Frederick Goudreau, Paul Stastny, Michael Amadio, Ross Colton, and 7 guys on the Devils had more points than Artemi Panarin. And minus all the Devils players on the list, they've all played less than Artemi Panarin these playoffs. So Kane had 6 points in 7 games. Zibanejad didn't score until game 6, I'm pretty sure. It was just absolutely brutal showing from New York, where Devils depth kind of showed up. So I'll give the spotlight over to you guys. What did you think about this Devils Rangers Battle of the Harbor series?
Call Lafreniere James Bond is 007. 0 goals, 0 assists, 7 games played.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane to see that the Devils were dead in the water, and that's what I was expecting. And then they just clawed back and defied all odds against like that whole New York team, no matter how much they put into at the deadline. It's just they couldn't even beat a young, inexperienced Devils team who didn't even play Vanacek in like the last, what was it, 4 games?
Yes, 5.
5 games? Like, that's just insane to me.
Yeah, it was pretty unreal. And I knew they'd always have scoring trouble because they've had even strength scoring trouble the past couple of years. And I thought at some point they'd get out of it, and they just never found it. But Ian, Matt, what did you boys think of this series?
Well, I got Jack Hughes on my fantasy team, so team now playoffs. But I was definitely surprised. Well, I was surprised after the first 2 games that the Devils were playing that bad, because I mean
Yeah.
Vanacek wasn't having a good playoffs, but like you watch those games, like it looked like they couldn't generate offense, or their life depended on it, right? And hats off to Schmid, kind of fueled the team to play better, and he played great. I guess you kind of forget they do have Palat, who's won 2 cups, and there's some Stanley Cup experience in that team. They got Tatar, who's been around for a long time. Picked up Meyer. I don't really know how well Meyer's playoffs went for him. I wasn't following him
He
too
got
much.
blown the fuck up by Trouba.
Yeah,
When we're talking about hits earlier, we'll talk about that in a sec. I didn't like that hit. It was clean, but like Trouba was trying to injure him. Like there's nothing about it there. Like he's trying to hurt him and send him out of the game. But no, yeah, and then got Dougie Hamilton too. So he's been around a long time as well. Got some playoff experience. So good for them. I'll have to see if they can continue around. Yeah, no, I'm happy the Devils won. I don't like the Rangers. I don't like Patrick Kane.
fair enough. Ian?
I think I called the Devils. I did
You
call the
did?
Devils.
Mm-hmm.
You said Devils in 5, which
I
I
said
thought
Devils.
was
Bold.
Yeah.
Takes for flying. We said that.
Definitely wasn't happening after the second game. No, the Devils just felt like they wanted it more, especially in Game 7.
yeah.
Like the Rangers just did not show up. They just had nothing, and I picked the Devils obviously, but I was still surprised at the fact that the Rangers just didn't show up at all for Game 7 against arguably your biggest rival, and you showed. Like you can't have that. That's unacceptable. And the full credit to the Devils. They earned it. They deserved it, and they deserve to be playing in the second round.
Yeah, to lose is one thing, to get shut out is another.
Yeah, Schmid, who's making his first playoff series appearance. Obviously, his first playoff appearance was in Game 3, and shut him out in Game 4, and then shut him out in Game 7. It's like you can't be doing this after going all in before the trade deadline and getting goal scorers and playmakers like Patrick Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko. It's like you got these pieces for a reason. How the fuck are you guys not putting it together? Like, it's unbelievable to me that they need power plays to score. It's like you have all this firepower. How can you not put it together?
Well, two things,
Crazy.
and like you're great. You got a great power play. All 5 goals on the power play were Chris Kreider tip-ins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there are, no offense to Chris Kreider, there are other dudes. There are other dudes on that team, and I totally forgot that Laugh existed until they showed him like in the third period during the broadcast. I don't know if it was the same broadcast for you guys, but for me, they just showed like in the third period Laugh with like a bunch of zeros, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. I totally forgot that Lafreniere was a player. That's how
Yeah.
bad it was. That's really what it was.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. But Matt, we'll go to you now. Truba hit on Meyer. You didn't like it?
No, I didn't like it. I mean, I didn't play hockey growing up, so like I guess there's I'm not totally familiar with like what is a clean hit, what you shouldn't do. But, I think I watched a lot of hockey. I thought it was high, and I thought his head was down before like Trouba really initiated contact. Like I just seems like a dangerous hit. If I was talking to someone today about it. If McCarr's getting suspension for what he did to McCann, I think Trouba should have at least gotten a penalty for what he did to Meyer, right? And also too, like, even though there's 10 minutes left in that game, they're only down 2-0. It kind of felt like New York had lost at that point. So to me, it just kind of seemed like he's trying to injure a player, you know, right? Like he's just trying to get something out of it. I don't think he's trying to like, incite his team to start playing better. Just wanted to hurt someone. So I didn't like it.
I respectfully disagree, but I kind of understand where you're coming from. I think with what's going on in these playoffs, and yeah, the momentum was definitely swung in a way where like it was hard for New York to come back into it. But if we know anything with these playoffs, it's like 2 goals can be scored within 30 seconds, and it wouldn't be a surprise. So I think if you can incite any sort of energy back into your team, then like you'll do it. And I think the hit was like as clean as it possibly could get. I think it was just Truba trying to utilize his power of being able to separate someone from the puck. And I think when you have a big force like Meyer and a big force like Truba, it's just a big collision is going to be the outcome. And like, I don't think, I think Truba attacked it well and like how he was supposed to. And I just think it was like an unfortunate outcome for Meyer. I think I didn't have a problem with it, but I can kind of see with like, I guess the head was the principal point, but like Truba, I don't think went out of his way to like injure him. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I was gonna say in real time, it looked fine, and then they showed a highlight, like the replay of it. And it's like, oh, he caught him in the face, and maybe this is where like Hayden might relate to this, but it's now becoming more of a watching football hits, and now they flag anything for like hit to the head.
Yeah.
I personally I don't know what the rule on hits to the head, but I always just go to like if I see somebody get hit in the head, that's a penalty. Viewing a whole lot more stuff now this postseason than they have before. In which case, if you have the opportunity to review it, you should.
That's fair.
If it's a hit to the head, if the head, it's a head or net area, the head is the principal point of contact. I think that should be a penalty, and I think that's something you have to call. Even if it's not intentional, if you still hit a guy in the head, it's not. You can't have that. That's just you're trying to make the game safer, trying to protect the players. Yeah, you have to get those kind of hits out.
Yeah. That's fair. Hey, what about you before we move on?
Honestly, I thought it was a clean hit as well from looking at it first in real time. But yeah, everyone brings up some good points with if it's a hit to the head, it's a penalty, which understandably so, that is a penalty. It's just players going in that fast of motion to really try and like not do that sometimes. It takes a lot, especially if you got all that adrenaline pumping up, you're probably like, damn, this guy needs to get hit in the face. So you just instinctively do it. But at the same time, if that's your thought process, yeah, you should be penalized. So it was nice to see a big hit and not have anything called on it, because holy shit, I hate reviews. I hate everything being reviewed. And that's coming from a guy that wanted a review longer 5 years ago. So yeah. Keep, but not the dirty hits. And that's really all I could say.
All right. Any more on this series before we move on?
I'm pretty sure Akira Schmidt is Swiss for Marty Brodeur.
Yeah, I can see it. I actually searched it up and it is for a fact. We'll keep this one pretty quick because there isn't really much to it, but Vegas beats Winnipeg in 5. They're the first team to move on to the second round. I think this played a lot into Winnipeg losing a lot of their big guys. Scheifele, Perfetti, Morrissey, Ehlers. They were out for a majority of the series, and especially Ehlers. He came back for game 5, but I think that really played an impact in Vegas taking a hold of this series. And I had Winnipeg moving on just because of goaltending, and I think Winnipeg kind of shows up in the playoffs, but Winnipeg takes it down in 5. Ian, what did you get from the series?
I don't think I learned anything that I didn't already know. I think my bigger takeaway is just the aftermath for Winnipeg with what Bonus was saying about his players and how the players responded to Bonus. That's kind of that those opened my eyes a little bit more.
Yeah, same here.
I'm curious to see Brossoit in this series against Edmonton. That's an interesting matchup compared to Winnipeg. But really the bigger story for me is just the Jets now and kind of who are they and what do they do. That's more like that's more interesting to me than what actually happened on the ice.
Yeah, same here. I agree. I think the comments are like, it's always this weird spot where it's like, all right, what's the direction going to be? But where it came out that Bonus is staying with the team. So it's going to be interesting to see how that relationship goes. Like, are some players going to want out after that? Does Winnipeg blow it up? What direction do they go? Because I think Winnipeg's in this weird no man's land spot where they have good players, but it seems like their luck's run out with this core. But Nelson, what Vegas, Winnipeg, what do you got to say about this?
I mean, I thought Vegas was going to win the series, 6 or 7 games. Away from home, but not having Elwers, losing Morrissey, that adds up, and when you see like Wheeler, he what was it this year? Last year he lost to C, or I think it was this year. Like, I don't know, he's not the same player he was, right? Also, like, trying to like strong arm his way out of when it just played Montreal. Like, I don't think he really deserves that right to do that yet. He hasn't. What has he accomplished really? Right?
Yeah.
And also, I was watching games. He took a lot of stupid penalties. He took a penalty that led up to the overtime goal that Amadio scored against Winnipeg, and I thought maybe if Winnipeg won that game, it could be a completely different series, right? Because they came back down. They're down 4-1 or whatever. 3 goals in the third period. That could have changed the whole series. But
yeah.
The one surprising thing was maybe that how good Brossoit played. Give him some credit. He's not the starter I would have had for Vegas, going into the playoffs, right? They got like what, 5 goaltenders?
Yeah, something like that.
Hats off to him. See if he can keep it up. I guess he had something to prove too, though, because he was a backup for Winnipeg a few years ago. So
yeah, and Brossoit, he was also on waivers too earlier this year, so he's kind of just like playing for his future as well. It's like, I don't want to be a goalie known as I was thrown on waivers and I'm only being played because everyone else is hurt. It's like I have to show up in these playoffs to show that I'm better than. But they labeled me as. But Hayden, what about you?
Yeah, I thought Winnipeg was going to upset Vegas. That was my bold prediction. Sure to go wrong. It did. And I thought Hellebuck would have, like, he did well, but I thought he would have done like absolutely incredible. I was trying to call the games before it even happened. Just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Vegas is a good team. And like Ian said, I'm more interested on now or what's happening with Winnipeg after, your leader, someone that coaches you through, just absolutely flames everyone basically. Like, that's kind of fucked up. It's very fucked up actually. I would not want to stick around for any of that shit.
Yeah. I think Winnipeg, even before that happened, I think they were gonna blow it up and kind of do like a maybe not like Chicago Blackhawks thing, but like even maybe trade some of their young guys. Just like I think they should kind of just blow it up. Maybe keep like Morrissey and Connor, but I think maybe trade everyone else and then just kind of like hit a quick reset button. But
Mm-hmm.
I just think Winnipeg's kind of in this no man's land now where Hellebuck might want out now because he doesn't want to rebuild. So like is Hellebuck gonna maybe is he going to LA, maybe get traded there because they're kind of they want to make a we were just talking about it, they want to take a kick at the can, but their goaltending's kind of weird. So yeah, I don't know. Winnipeg's just in this weird spot where I think they kind of ship everyone off and kind of blow it up, get some picks, and try to hit a quick reset button. But we'll see.
I
Yeah,
think, and I think, well, I think last summer was really the time to do that when you had the new coach. I think that was really, I think they're a year late on this. They really should have done it
yeah,
last year when they had a new coach and they would have just been like, hey, new coach, new team, new direction. You're kind of doing it a year late. I'm with Matt on the whole Dubois thing. Like that's kind of bullshit. But I mean, really, if you know, if you're gonna do it, just rip the band-aid off, trade Shifley, trade Wheeler, um, you know, maybe not necessarily trade Connor, Morrissey, Hellebuck, unless you get an offer you can't refuse to, but you really, if you're gonna do it, you just do it now. Just get it over with and
yeah,
and stop being like, yeah, maybe next season will be a bit better. I
right.
just don't see that.
Yeah, I agree. You just gotta kind of bite the bullet and do it, and I think that's what they will do. Dallas beats Minnesota in 6 games. I think everything kind of went as planned. We talked about it before, where like it was a kind of a psycho move of taking Gustafson out after game one and putting Fleury in, and he let in 7 on 25. Like I'd think that kind of shifted momentum heavy back into Dallas's favor. And then reffing wasn't Minnesota's best friend. Like there's a lot of storylines going against Minnesota, which kind of made it harder for them to win. But I mean, Dallas Rupe Hintz is playing like an absolute animal. Ottinger's starting to heat up after starting off slow. And I just think goaltending overall, like I think Gustafson didn't look his best for the remainder of the series. But I just think it was just a matter of Dallas finding a way to win and Tyler Seguin stepping up massive for Pavelski while he was hurt. But Matt, Dallas over Minnesota. What did you think about that?
I think the right team won. Uh, I thought hats up to Gustafson in game one, but I think Dallas was unlucky not to win game one.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. Was there ever a reason that came out why Fleury started game two? I
I think
don't
it
know.
was just they're just sticking with their tandem all year, but I thought it was psycho taking out a goalie who just made 51 saves and like kept your team in it and like won you the game. Like I just
Right?
thought it was crazy.
Maybe they thought they were gonna rest him because whatever. But no, yeah, and but then after game three, Minnesota won. Didn't Minnesota win 7-3 or something like that? And they were up 2-1 at one point in the series. So I was like, oh, like shit, like maybe Minnesota's better than I thought. But yeah, Dallas put it to bed. And speaking of Dallas right now, they've kind of imploded this first period here against Seattle. They're down 4-2. About 3 goals in a minute 30 here. So Ottinger's cooling down right now.
Wait,
Did they-
what the fuck?
Yeah,
Or
it was,
two
it was
Seattle?
2-1.
I saw it was 2-1.
Yeah, and then there was 2 goals in 11 seconds, and then when I was talking about, I think it was Patrick Kane or whatever, like they scored another goal. So,
Jesus.
I saw Pavelski score the very first goal.
they also
And
got 2 goals,
then-
so that's good for them. He's got, he's back. I don't know if Ottinger's going to get pulled. I mean, 4 goals in the first period, maybe,
Not great.
but it's only 2
Not
goals down,
great.
2 periods to go. So lots of hockey.
Oh,
Hey, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Ian. Your boy showing up. He's not hitting those
Borky boy.
posts anymore.
I guess one of the other storylines is Kaprizov didn't show up for Minnesota. So
Yeah.
yeah, that seems like a very Minnesota thing to do, is to have a decent regular season and not really show up in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's their last like 8 years has been first round, miss, first round, or something like that.
They beat Colorado 1 year in the first round.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. Was that like the year they won the cup? Like the year before they won the cup? That they lost to Minnesota in the first round?
No, they lost. It was like 2015 or something like that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think it might have been Duchesne era still, but I don't know.
Oh, gotcha. Duchesne, Colorado. That's crazy. Ian, any thoughts? Minnesota, Dallas.
I don't think I watched a single minute of that series. The Wild were pretty mid. The Stars are the better team. We're the better team. Should have won that series. And like, Dallas really. Spoiler. Like, I know we already talked about before, but to pick the Kraken to beat the Stars anyways. Dallas really has the formula to go far in that. They have a really good goalie. They have, good scoring, especially at the top end. Their defense is, good enough to help win you games. Like, Dallas is like kind of one of those, in my opinion, like a cliche team that we talk about. Like, you got to be hot, you got to have the goalie, you got to have the depth, the scoring. That like Dallas is that team, and I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas goes back to the finals.
Yeah, I can see that 100%. I agree with you. Hayden, any word on this?
yeah, I didn't really watch this series either. I was like, I don't really like Minnesota, and I don't really like Dallas. Yeah, but I can't remember who I picked. I think I picked Dallas because of Ottinger. Purely
I picked
because
Dallas too.
Yeah, purely if I didn't, I'm insane. But I could have because of Fleury. Oh, I hope I hope I picked Dallas.
It doesn't matter anyway
It
because
doesn't, yeah.
yeah, it was my least watched series, I think. So we'll just move
Yeah.
on. And we saved probably the most boring series for last, but Carolina beats New York in 6. I think New York, it was like such a weird series because I thought New York got absolutely dominated, but they kind of forced a game 6. There's only so much Sorokin can do. I think New York scored like 1 power play goal out of like 25 opportunities or something stupid like that. Like New York's typical no scoring showed up, and I just don't even know with this team anymore because they're the most boring team to watch of all time, and that's where I'm leaving it. And I was psycho for picking the Islanders to beat Carolina.
Yeah, you were a dog. Let's fucking go. I called Carolina, called that shit, but I said it was going to be their only series win. So if they somehow pull out a win, or I guess if they somehow pull out a series win against the
New
Devils,
Jersey.
I'll be shocked as all hell.
Yeah.
I
Nelson,
was gonna say I think I picked the Islanders, but also because I brought back my Ianlanders joke, and it did not go well.
That's why your joke fucked us, dude. That's why they lost.
Sorry. Sorry. I there was a line and I crossed it. My bad, Jeff.
Yeah, 100%.
Know your place, Ian.
Yeah. Nelson, what are your thoughts on the series?
I had the Hurricanes sweeping the Islanders, so like I thought 6 was, good for the Islanders, I guess. But I thought the only reason they made the playoffs because Pittsburgh played themselves out of the playoffs. I don't
That's
think
fair.
they're in the playoffs. I don't think they have. I don't think Barzal is like. I think he's like a really good second line center on a good team, right? I don't know. I thought I blamed like his lack of points on what's his name?
Horvat?
No, who was the coach? Barry Trotz.
Oh,
Because he's
Trotz.
defensive minded, right? But like, I don't know. They're such a weird team. Like, seems like every other year is Anders Lee's year, and in
yeah.
between, Brock Nelson has a good year. Like, it seemed they can never get it right. They're a good team, but like, Carolina's going to win, right? And even more impressive they did it without Svechnikov and Teravainen, even though Teravainen didn't have that great of a year. But
Even Pacioretty too. Like he played like 2 minutes and then got hurt again.
right, and they had Antti Ranta started in the series too. I think Anderson won Game 6. He started Game 6.
Yeah.
So, impressive that they won without 2 of their top 6 forwards, but like, can they beat New Jersey after New Jersey's kind of like, they're hot right now? I don't think so, but if Carolina beats New Jersey, I would have them to win the cup because if they can do that without their top guys, I think they got the depth. Like, I think defensively they're a good team, but remains to be seen. So
Yeah, that's fair. I had Islanders because of their lack of moves, because of Carolina's lack of moves at the deadline, and they lost their big guys. So I thought New York would like edge them out, like get a gritty series win out of it. But looking back, I just think Carolina's just better coached, and I just think they're deeper and they're not as inconsistent scoring as New York is. So seemed kind of silly that I picked them in the first place. But um, just a quick news on Calgary here. They're getting a new $1.2 billion arena. So that's pretty cool. Their Junior A arena is no longer a thing anymore. And Daryl Sutter is out as Calgary's coach. What do we think about this, boys?
I got something to say about that because I was talking Avery and one of the other buddies. I thought they were going to give him another year, like another chance at least. I thought just because the team changed a lot, right?
Yeah.
You Joe and Kachuk were your guys, and you also lost Monahan, who obviously hasn't been the guy for a long time, but he's there. You're still there for a long time, so and they just missed the playoffs, right? Huberdeau, Uyghur weren't playing very well. I thought they're going to give him like the start of next year, but I guess it makes sense that they fired him, right? You know, they signed Huberdeau. They want
Yeah.
Huberdeau. They know he's capable of. So yeah, it makes sense. I was a little bit surprised. I thought they'd give him a chance, but I guess what their GM say or whatever, like his style of coaching only can work so long.
Yeah,
So
something like that. So, yeah,
Gel fun.
I'm in the same boat. Especially he's pretty fresh off winning Coach of the Year, so I thought they'd like give him a little bit of a chance, but I just think like something needed to happen. But like you got to think with Calgary, like I can't really think of many players that played well on that team. Like Markstrom didn't play that great. Huberdeau had the biggest drop off in NHL history. Uyghur didn't really play that great. Like I just don't think a lot worked. Like Lindholm played all right, but I just like can't really think of
Yeah.
I just can't really think of much that like worked at all. So I don't know if like can you pin all that on Sutter, but I guess a coaching change could spark the room. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who they pick up.
Yeah.
I guess there's still some time for coaches to get fired and stuff like that, but they got a good team, right? So
Yeah,
I
I
guess
agree. Ian Hayden, do you have any word on this?
I think it was the right move, especially after some toxicity that I heard about in the locker room itself. with Sutter. Apparently he was a big locker room cancer, and that's just not what a team needs to win. Like, you need a coach who's gonna not be a piece of shit to you.
Yeah.
You need someone who's actually gonna be like a good mentor, a friend, even like a father figure, and help pick you up, not put you down.
Yeah. And I think a lot of players on Calgary are threatening not coming back if he was
I
the
can see
coach.
why.
So I think that was a big true live. And he's like, we are hesitant. And if they're doing this, then we're just going to let you go.
Mm-hmm.
Ian?
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he was let go. I think the team is good. The team honestly, I know they lost Goudreau and Kachuk and all that. There's they won the Pacific, they won their division the year before. They're somewhere in between that division winning team and this year's team. Like, I honestly believe if they have a different coach, they are somewhere in the middle there. You're probably looking at getting another, a backup so that you're not having to play Markstrom, 940 games this year. You're probably looking at trying to get some more depth, some more third or fourth line guys that aren't Lucic or Blake Coleman, like some
Yeah.
more affordable guys who aren't taking up valuable cap space on your roster. Um, Similar to Winnipeg, I'm curious to see what they do this offseason. So, similar to LA, the Pacific is wide open. Anybody can contend in it, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Flames are back in the playoffs next year. They definitely have the talent to do it. They just need to go in the right direction.
Yeah. Amen. All right. We're going to finish off NHL here with our round 2 picks. I don't know if obviously Florida beat Toronto 4-2, so they're leading the series 1-0. I'll give my picks prior to that game happening anyway, but we'll just quickly go around and bang out each series and what team we have and then how many games. So Matt, I'll start with you. Edmonton, Vegas. Who you got?
I think I got Vegas. I 5 minutes ago I was applauding Brossoit for having a good series, but still, it's McDavid and Draisaitl. I think they're probably gonna light him up. I think it'll be close. I would be surprised if it goes less than 6 games, but I got Edmonton. Edmonton 7, let's say.
Edmonton 7. Ian?
I'll take Vegas in 7.
All right. Respect. Hayden?
Give me Edmonton in 7 as well.
And,
Although I hope they'll win it at home. I hope they win it in 6, but probably won't happen.
Klim Kostin overtime goal.
Over 20 points.
Yeah.
I got Edmonton in a sweep and Klim Kostin playing left wing, center, right wing, defense,
Wow.
goalie.
Wow.
How do you ever get? No, I got Edmonton in 6. I
I'm the only
think
one going Vegas. Wow.
I think LA is going to be their toughest opponent until the final.
Edmonton played super well against Vegas all season. I know playoffs are different, but
well, not even that. I just think LA plays Edmonton really well, and they have before. So I think like after this, finishing them off in 6, I think they can beat Vegas in 6 as well. Dallas, Seattle. Matt, back to you.
Before this period here, I would have had Dallas, but now it's like I don't know. I think I'll still give it to Dallas. Dallas in 7 though. And yeah. Dallas in 7. I trust them.
Ian?
I said before I was going to pick Seattle over Dallas. I'm going to take Seattle in 6.
Seattle in 6. That's fair. Release the Kraken, baby.
Release the Kraken.
Hayden?
I'm gonna go Dallas in 6. I like Ottinger. I feel like he's a game changer, and as long as Dallas can not choke away games like this, who knows? Maybe they can even come back. It's still the first period, lots of hockey left to play, and I did have Dallas before this series started, so we'll say that.
And I'm gonna go Dallas in 7. Hey, remember Tampa beat Toronto 7-3 and
Exactly.
1-6.
And
So
1-6. There you go.
yeah, I have Dallas in 7. Toronto, Florida. Matt, back to you.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up the Tampa Bay score just for that too. Yeah, they lost the first game. Like they didn't look great. They didn't look terrible. Like I thought their third goal was kind of TJ Brody's fault, but yeah, I got Toronto in 6. I think Toronto will. I don't like this whole Florida not letting Canadians down there. I think that's
I
like I
I
think it
heard
should be
s-
like, you know,
I heard something that was just pre-sale.
just pre-sale.
Yeah, like pre-sale tickets, they weren't allowing Canadian residents to buy tickets, but once pre-sale was over, then they were opening it up to everyone else. That's what I heard.
Okay. I
Like
was misinformed.
like a Florida someone from Florida commented on the NHL post, they're like, guys, relax. They're like misleading this information. They're opening it up after pre-sale to everyone. So that's what I read. But yeah. Yeah, I thought it was bullshit too. I was like, I don't think you can do that. Like, I just think it's kind of unfair, but I think legally they can't. So, um, I think it was a pre-sale thing. But Ian,
Okay.
Florida, Toronto.
I before the series, I was talking about how funny it would be if Matt Kachuk and Radko Gudas were public enemies #1 in Toronto. I still think it's gonna be happening here, and I'm gonna go Florida in 7. I had them. This is gonna be a close series. Like I think this is still gonna be back and forth. I think Florida is gonna grind Toronto down, and Florida will make them pay. Panthers in 7. And I mean, aren't there so many Canadians who are living in Florida anyways? Like Maple Leafs fans will get in. Maple Leafs fans will go to the game. They'll find a way.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they like wear like a Florida thing over top, they won't even check. They'll be like, "Oh, okay, fine. You're cool." And then they'll get in. Leafs gear, baby.
Their jerseys and stuff are just tearaways and it's just Leafs gear underneath.
That's what I see happening.
Yeah. Ed, Toronto, Florida.
Oh, man. Back and forth of this for me. And at first I was heavily leaning Toronto because Jeff, what we were saying, as soon as Toronto won, it's like they're a wagon, they're good. But then I also thought like Bobrovsky, he's playing hot. Florida's playing hot. It's so hard to try and steer away from that. And then this game happened. And it just solidified me and my pick even more to go Florida in 6.
Wow.
It'll take another 19 years for the Leafs to move on from round 2 to round 3.
Start a new streak.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go Leafs in 6. I don't know. I'm a little less confident in it now. I thought Leafs would take game 1, but um, Florida looks good for sure, and I don't think it's gonna go um shorter than 6, but I'm just gonna take Leafs in 6 and stick with my original pick. Um, New Jersey, Carolina, last series. Matt, to you.
I got New Jersey in 6. Like I said earlier, I think Carolina was playing, not a very good Islanders team, and without Chechikov and Teravainen, I think they have trouble finding, you know, offense once they start playing better teams. So New Jersey in 6.
I like it. Ian?
I'll take Carolina in 7 because I do want to see Rod Brendamore do well, like BC boy. Want to see him win as a coach. It's tough going against the Devils because I think the Devils have the best player in this series, that being Jack Hughes, who was fucking phenomenal against the Rangers. So it's hard going against the team with the best player. But I'm rooting for Brendamore. I'm rooting for Campbell River guy Rod Brendamore and the Hurricanes to beat the Devils.
Ed?
Give me Jersey in 6 as well. to tag along with Matt.
Yeah, I like that. I got Jersey in 7. Me and Ian, we didn't agree once in these picks.
Nope.
Someone's gonna be right.
Yeah. Ian, you picked Florida, right?
I did.
Yeah, we didn't agree once. So love that. The last time one of these teams won a Stanley Cup was 17 years ago, was the shortest amount of years. So it's going to be nice to see a new refreshing team lift the cup. And obviously Vegas and Seattle haven't won. Same with Florida as well. But
You throw Toronto in there too. They haven't really won, so
Nobody
6 to
remembered
7.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Nobody would, nobody would lie for that, obviously.
Yeah, so no, it's going to be very interesting. I'm excited to see what round 2 brings. Especially this Toronto Florida one. I think this one's going to be really interesting. But hey, we got some NFL news. Matt, I know you're dogged, so if I understand if you need to head out, but if you want to stick around and talk some football, then you're more than welcome to. But just going to be touching on a couple of notes of the NFL draft and some big signings and trades. So we'd love to have you stick around.
bow out here, just get some dinner in me.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be mostly just watching you guys talk about NFL. I'm not a big fan of Will Levis. That's one thing I'll say. I was cocky even just saying if I'm gonna get drafted in the second round, I shouldn't show up or whatever he did, and then that was karma. So you just don't drink coffee with that too. It's fucking disgusting.
I was gonna say that's for putting mayo in his coffee. A fucking psychopath.
Eating bananas with the peel on.
Oh fuck.
The 33rd overall pick, the fucking local prison selects Will Levis.
Will Levis.
One thing I will say, who do you think starts for the Colts next year?
Will Levis. No, I'm kidding. He's playing Tennessee for fuck's sakes.
Tony Richardson, I think. I think.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson's, yeah.
Anthony Richardson, yeah.
Fucking Ellinger and Foles is on the IRLT still. So
I could honestly see Foles starting just as for the first 3 weeks.
I was gonna say the first 2 games, yeah.
And then throw in Richardson.
Yeah, after Foles throws 2 touchdowns, 7 picks, 126 average yards a game.
No, he'll look above average, very much below average, and then be like, "Why are you still on this team?" And then he'll get benched, get traded to Philly or something like that. Hurts will go down, and Foles will come in and lead him to another Super Bowl or something. It's gonna be something garbage, weird Nick Foles season, but yeah, I honestly think he could be week 1 starter just because of the vet presence. But that's about it. But Matt, I appreciate you coming on, buddy. Do you want to plug it? Do you have any social media you want to plug or anything like that? Is there anything?
Never.
All right. I respect that.
Right.
Thanks for coming on, buddy. It's good talking to you. We'll do it again soon.
All right. Peace out, boys. Thanks for having me.
Peace out, Matt.
Matt Nelson, everybody. What a guy. Ian, are you good to stick on? Are you still good to rock and roll?
I'll talk shop. We'll talk shop here.
Let's go.
Love that. All right, Hayden, kick us off.
All right. So before we get into any draft news, I assume everyone knows their first 3 picks from their team. So I do want to touch on how you guys feel about that. But before we get into it, someone stole the spotlight, and it only took him fucking months after another disappointing season. But Aaron Rodgers has finally been traded to the Jets, and holy fuck, what a fleece. Absolutely fleeced for a fucking 40-year-old man who can't perform in the playoffs. Jev.
You really fucking hate this guy. It's actually hilarious.
How do you feel about your new division rival mate?
I mean, Aaron Rodgers has always been solid. He's obviously not the player he was, but I mean, he's won back-to-back MVPs in the past few years, so he's obviously good.
Oh, so that must mean he's won Super Bowls, right?
Dude, have you seen what his roster was constructed of? It was dog shit he was throwing to. But Yeah,
It's
obviously,
probably
as
it's probably a good thing I'm here so I can mediate whatever like
I'm not
argument.
even. I'm just Hayden's just absolutely going crazy about this.
I've never
He
liked Aaron
I've
Rodgers.
never seen someone hate someone more than Hayden hates Aaron Rodgers. It's actually insane how
He's just a
much he
fucking
despises him.
he's just a fucking dick,
Um,
whiny little bitch.
see what I have to deal with, Ian? It's crazy. Um, no, but like I think this Jets team is better than any of this teams of the past like 3 years. Like 3, 4 years. Like I think this Jets team is better, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers has lost much of a step. So I do think the Jets got better, but obviously, like I said not too like 2 seconds ago, he isn't what he once was. But I think the Jets are a better team and like a could be a solid playoff team, but I don't think they have like the Super Bowl expectations that he had in Green Bay, just because I think the division's stronger in the AFC East than the NFC North. Um,
I agree.
so I think the Patriots with the way they drafted with their defense, like I think they're gonna be solid. Like they got a day one corner and a very high ceiling edge rusher who just like he switched over to defense like 3, 4 years ago, but he's like an athletic freak. So like I think if they kind of I don't think there's a better team to like groom a defensive player from like in playing offense 3 years ago than New England. Like I think they're gonna do him right. And Miami got Jalen Ramsey, and the Bills are the Bills. So like obviously Aaron Rodgers is jumping into a much harder division, but I still think he has a better team to deal with because he actually has receivers to throw to. I mean, he had Devontae Adams, I know that, but when Alan Lazard is your wide receiver one, it's like how are you supposed to really dissect the defense? There's not much you can do. But
Hey, Alan Lazard is his wide receiver one in New York. What are you talking about?
yeah, guys like Garrett Wilson don't exist
Yeah, no,
apparently.
no way.
But yeah, that's my breakdown. Obviously, like not as scared as I'm not as scared of him as I once was, but he's still a solid quarterback and makes that Jets team much better right off the bat.
Just immediately discounting that Zach Wilson's not gonna be the day one starter.
I mean, he's gonna make his life hell in practice. And
Ian, what do you?
Aaron
Uh,
Rodgers doesn't have to worry about Zach Wilson banging his mom because he doesn't talk to his family anyway. So
boom. Okay, that's one win that he has.
exactly.
Ian, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to give up for a guy while you go like 7-10 next season. I don't think the Jets like. Great, you got your quarterback. I don't think the Jets are going anywhere.
Yeah, division is loaded.
Well, it's not even that. They're also the Jets. Like there's something to be said for just like the Jets being the Jets. Like if that makes any sense.
But I think it's a new era. I'll agree. It's a new era of Jets. Like you look at their past drafting, and last year's draft class was compared to like the greatest drafts ever. And obviously don't want to say it, but like a lot of people, a lot of higher ups in the analyst department are putting the 2017 Saints as the best draft class. And I mean, how could you not?
well, okay, no, but like actually, like yes, okay, you get your Saints bias in there, sure,
That
but
one is like every media outlet will say it. And
yeah,
Robert Saleh, love Robert Saleh. Great, absolutely phenomenal defensive minded guy. And now you add, Aaron Rodgers, who I will admit, yes, left in the tank. You're drafting properly. I think that's my biggest question
the
because you look at Brees Hall, he wasn't healthy, and
here's
that shit him out.
the the ceiling for this move is Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay. That's what the ceiling of Aaron Rodgers to the Jets is. This thing is that they're the Jet, and they're probably not even going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that would be bust for them not to make playoffs.
It
And I
definitely,
think that's
yeah, it definitely would. But I definitely think their chances are a lot higher than it was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, easily. Like Will Levis's odds to go first overall. Plus 4,000 to 400 in a day, baby.
I like the Jet. Like if we not that we are, but if we're going to like do a whole ranking of like what teams do you like in the AFC, the Jets are maybe like 10th for me.
Yeah, but at least like Jeff's saying, they're not 16th anymore.
Which I guess fair enough, and I guess that's the price you pay to not be 16th is to fucking be respectable. I just
think the
good luck.
AFC is very, very strong. So like I think the Patriots got better, but I don't think their offense did. So I still don't really consider New England that much of a threat. Like I think they're gonna win. Their wins are gonna be low scoring. Like I think they're gonna be around 500, the same as last year. They're just gonna have a much better defense than offense, as per usual. The Bills are the Bills. Miami's got better all around. It's solely dependent on Tua's health. And then you still got the Bengals. You got the Ravens with Lamar back and signing OBJ. So like that's huge. They got better, right? The AFC South is only getting better with Jacksonville. Like they're getting stronger. Tennessee's rebuilding. We still don't know what they are, but they're rebuilding. Indianapolis could be really exciting with Richardson. So like the Jets didn't like skyrocket into Bills territory with this trade, but they kind of had to if they're like these young
If they want
players
to
are
be competitive.
these young players like the NFL turnover on a roster is so short. And NFL players hold so much power when wanting out and wanting to go to a new team and wanting to win. They'll fucking get out of New York as soon as possible if they don't really get a move where they can kind of compete right away and taking advantage of rookie contracts, blah, 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 blah. I kind of understand the Rodgers trade because you still have Zach Wilson in case he flourishes into something decent. So, like, I don't know. I don't think those draft picks that they gave up are going to be anything high, but we'll see. I don't know. It's just like I think they kind of went to like from like high teens to low 20s tier to like low teens mid tier where they could maybe squeeze into a wild card, like seventh wild card spot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they're going to compete for a division or the conference championship game, but they might squeeze into playoffs in like the 17th week or 18th week. Like
It'll be
that's
cool
kind
to
of
see a Bills Jets Sunday night football game. I can already envision it now.
yeah, like that's kind of where I put them. I kind of maybe like yeah, I don't know. Just a very
That's fair.
weird spot with the
That's fair.
Rodgers acquisition.
Well, with that, and then I guess I don't know. Baltimore made a splash. Only did Lamar Jackson become the highest paid player ever. Congratulations, Baltimore. That took way too long. I don't know what other better option you had on the market. And if you were going to trade him, well, you didn't trade him at the draft, but instead you signed him. So about time. But they also signed Antonio Brown. Oh my God. Talk about a Dez Bryant signing if I've ever heard one.
Did they actually sign him?
Yeah,
I
he
don't think
signed.
I don't think they actually did.
No.
Yeah.
I think that was a joke.
No. Antonio Brown is part of the Baltimore Ravens.
I thought it was like
The NFL even announced it.
I thought it was one of those things where it's like Antonio Brown agreed to a contract, but the Ravens did not agree, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought that's what, like I thought he posted that just on his social, and then I'm not sure about that.
I didn't think that was an actual thing.
I know OBJ signed with them.
Well, I also know Antonio Brown and Overtime Megan also had a sex tape release. So Mexico really could have just fucked me up here. I
don't think he actually signed with Baltimore. I think there would have been Schefter would have created a lot more buzz about it. Like
Yeah,
I didn't see anything about that from Shefty boy.
check
Like I
your half.
think I think Antonio Brown just tweeted a photo of him in a Ravens uniform.
Yeah, I think
I
you're.
found the exact tweet that I liked as well from that. Um,
What's the account
this
name?
this is
Ball
Dov.
sacks.
No, no, close. Dov Kleiman, trusted source. I'm gonna put this up to Mexico brain. The question mark, I vividly remember it as an exclamation mark. So Antonio Brown, he says, did Antonio Brown just announce he signed with the Ravens? Question mark. And yeah, it was Antonio Brown saying excited to return to the NFL this year. Hashtag Ravens flock.
Yeah, but yeah, I didn't see anything from like Baltimore social, NFL social. Like I didn't see anything about
And
that.
just
So
Yeah, it's basically just a hint that he's signing.
yeah, like
Even
Hayden,
like
I could Photoshop myself in a Seahawks jersey and be like, can't wait to play in the NFL next
do
year.
it right
Hashtag
now.
12th man.
Do it right now. I dare you.
you'd obviously get Hayden. That's a fact.
And then
Clearly,
Hayden with the like and retweet, like, hey, congrats, bro. Well deserved.
it also confused me too with Lamar saying like after he signed was like, and there's more news on the way as well, and that happened. So
Yeah.
this is really just perfect timing for me.
Oh no, usually I see like athletes quote tweet NFL posting that they signed and then saying like ready to get to work or whatever. But like when
Mhm.
AB just tweeted it, I'm like, nah, something ain't right here. Like I know he would tweet that, but usually I'd see something from like Twitter would be making a lot more buzz if like he
Yeah,
actually did.
it definitely would. So you know what? I was trolled.
Yeah.
You
Hayden got
know,
Stephen A. Smith.
I got
for
Stephen A. Smith.
for Jevin and I who have been to sports broadcasting class, always check your sources, Hayden. Just
Yeah.
just a friendly reminder.
Again, like I said, Dov Fireman, trusted source.
Hayden was 18
Misread.
daiquiris in, so
Yeah, I was indeed
Hayden
on the
rushing
booze.
Margs, and he's like, "Oh fuck, Antonio Brown."
That's literally how it was too. Like I just opened a Rona. I saw like Antonio Brown in a Ravens jersey. I'm like, what? No fucking way. This is terrible. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Probably should have checked up more and more on the sources. But you know what? Fuck it. We'll go through the draft. Ian.
I also want to say one thing. Jalen Hurts became the highest paid NFL player for about 20 minutes, and then Lamar signed right after him. So shout out
Again,
to Jalen
it's
Hurts for getting the bag.
why I didn't even say a goddamn thing.
Yeah, but I wanted to point out like Jalen Hurts. Shout out to you. All right, moving
Yeah,
on.
you got your bag. All right, Ian. Fucking smiley ass motherfucker. Seattle's first three picks. How are you feeling about them, my guy?
I can't remember if the third, because we had a couple second round picks. Thank you, Denver Broncos. So I can't remember if it was Hall.
I'll pull up your first.
I know
picks.
the first two, anyways, where it's Devin Witherspoon and then Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah,
With a knife.
I love the Witherspoon pick. Bit of a reach at 5, I will say. Like, I wonder if you could have traded down to like 2 spots with the Raiders to get him. But I mean, like, classic Legion of Boom guy. He's got that swagger. And as someone who grew up with the Legion of Boom and how they impacted me and me growing up with them, how they've impacted me, I'm excited for the next generation, the next group of kids who get to grow up with the next Legion of Boom. Because that's great. That's so cool.
it was Derek Hall.
Derek Hall. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was Hall, if it was Charbonnet, the running back. Smith and Jigba. and it's too bad he's from the Ohio State University. That's the one character flaw. Otherwise, like makes a lot of sense. Like
I don't know what you're complaining about. The Ohio State University not only had Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, but Marvin Harrison on the horizon. I think you absolutely smashed this with Jackson Smith and Nigba.
Oh,
Chris Olave overrated.
The only character flaw is that he like willingly went to Ohio. That's his one character. No, but like three-headed monster. It's such a transition from the Seahawks teams of past, who like your best receivers are Doug Baldwin and a young Tyler Lockett and Paul Richardson. We're getting to the Paul Richardson part of the podcast. Like I love the three-headed monster idea. Giving Geno more options. I'm excited. Like I love it. I appreciate that they didn't trade out of the first round to go get this guy like a Seahawks team would. But overall, A+ day one. And then Derek Hall, they need an edge rusher. They probably would have taken like Will Anderson if he was still available at 5, like because they need an edge rusher. He wasn't, so they didn't, obviously. But Derek Hall, Charbonnet, like I don't really have any complaints with like the day 2 and 3 picks. So well done, Seattle.
I dead ass thought that you guys were gonna go Jalen Carter.
I was thinking that I think if Will Anderson was there, Will Anderson, yes, because they need an edge rusher.
Mm.
But it sounded like Witherspoon just fit the characteristics of a Seahawks secondary player.
Which is kind of crazy that they went corner in my eyes too, because Tariq Woolen, I don't know if you heard of him, potential defensive rookie of the year candidate. Like absolutely insane. That's an amazing corner duo right there.
Yeah, and like you have like so now you got your 2 corners. Depending on how you feel about Jamal Adams, you really got your your 2-star safeties there too with Quandre Diggs and Adams, and like you're set. Like the secondary you don't have to worry about. Like you are set. You are it's plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
You love the great, nothing to worry about there.
Fair enough. Solid. Jeff,
What up?
your first 3 picks. I know I was absolutely ecstatic with what Bill Belichick did in the draft. How many picks did you guys end with this year?
Pretty sure, like, I think I saw something we had, like, in the teens, I'm pretty sure.
12.
Yeah, I know it was around, like, 13 that we had. So, it's not a surprise we traded back in the first round. I mean, that always happens. The only time I knew we weren't was when we drafted Mac Jones, because like quarterback available, we needed one. But like I always have an 85% feeling that we're going to trade back because it's just what Bill does. But I mean, Gonzalez with the first pick, I love it. He was like reading up on him before the draft, he was like a top 10 talent, and slipping to 17, I just think it's masterclass from Bill.
Steal.
He's a day 1 starter, and I just think like after drafting him, I read a bit more, and like he might need some work like in open field tackling, but I think that's something where when you have super versatile, sporadic Kyle Duggar running all over the field, tackling won't be as much of a worry if you got him like kind of supporting you. But I like the pick with Gonzalez because I think he'll get a lot of coverage sacks. Like he'll help the D line and linebackers and such like that, like get coverage sacks, and I think that'll just help with our defense in general. And when you got Stephon Diggs, Jalen Waddle, and
Tyreek Hill.
Garrett Wilson,
Garrett Wilson.
and like just like one for each team, I'll just route like you got to be able to cover in the open field, and I think Gonzalez helps that tremendously. So I like the pick a lot. Keon White, if I'm not mistaken, is the second pick that we had.
You are right.
I mean, I think he's just a beast. This is the guy I was talking about. Like, I'm pretty sure he switched to defense like 4 years ago.
Yeah, he was a tight end.
And he's basically like operating as an edge just based on his freakish athleticism. And I think if you have the athleticism down, that's something you can't really teach. But with Bill, he'll be able to work out all the fundamentals and like technicalities with him and at least make him like very good and like just an annoyance, really. Like offensive linemen are going to hate trying to block him because he's like fast and just a body in general. So I really like that pick. And Mapu.
Marty.
Marty Mapu. I think just very solid as well. It fits the versatile mold of Duggar as well. And I think like Patriots are kind of going off that. I just really like the secondary that we're kind of building and like the defense in general. We want speed and everything, and with like Marcus Jones, Jonathan Jones, Gonzalez, White, and just like Duggar, I just think it's very solid what we're building, and I like the first three picks that help us with that. Usually defense is kind of boring because you want to see like receivers drafted and
yeah, the fancy picks.
Yeah, but I think these picks help out a lot with what we're going to be facing on offense from Buffalo, Miami, and New York. So I think that it was a good direction from Billy Boy this draft.
Love it. Now, for mine, I don't think it's a coincidence that we Brian Breesy. Not only do we need a D tackle, but if you move the E one spot over, you spell Breeze. So it's all set in motion. No, but on a real note, Brian Breesy, former number one recruit, from what I read up on him, never knew that. I knew that he was a fucking beast. I went through and watched like all of the top 50 prospects and like shit like that. And they were showing highlights from him in high school. Motherfucker was like 6'4", already fully developed by like grade 10. And just seeing a man child like that throw around kids is fucking hilarious. And then it goes into like his Clemson years in college, and Buddy was an absolute unit. So absolutely love to see that we got the next Aaron Donald on our team. No, he unfortunately has had bad injury luck last year with a torn ACL, and then he had like a ruptured kidney or something like that.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, 2 years ago. But
upper body injury, we'll call it that.
Yeah.
Undisclosed. Yeah, no, definitely
day to day.
Yeah.
Definitely shortened his 2021 season, but no, it seems like he's going to be an absolute unit. So love where we went with that. And then not only did we choose a D tackle, but then we moved up. No, we didn't move up, but this was our original second round pick. Zefosky, defensive end, Notre Dame. And now this was someone that I was like, holy shit, I love this guy. Not only in his draft interview did he say that he wanted to go to New Orleans first, but he also was a second team All-American, and he got the Ted Hendricks Award as well. So just an absolute beast of a defensive end. It's classic New Orleans style, drafting like 6'5", 270-pound athletic freaks at defensive end, but no injury history yet. So let's hope to dear God that doesn't stick with us. And then we get a running back, Kendre Miller, out of TCU.
Isn't he a defenseman for the Rangers? No, I'm playing. Keandre Miller. Okay.
Good one.
I'll just go
Absolute
fuck myself.
Yeah. The door's right there. But
Get
no,
up.
this guy, I watched him a lot unwillingly because of TCU being in the college championship. Unfortunately, did not have the final game he wanted, and he's young as shit. He's like 21, I think, but he's a very north-south kind of guy. 5'11", 220, runs like an absolute unit. And his first talking about New Orleans was like saying how he respected Kamara and how he likes what he's done for the league, but he's coming for that number one role. And I'm like, but you got to take over Jamal Williams first, all right? Yeah. But no, I love the pick there. And
he's gonna think like after breaking off a 37-yard run down to the 2, he's like, all right, first touchdown incoming, and then Jamal Williams is gonna sub him out and take all his
Exactly. Exactly.
Jamal Williams like, nah, bro, they brought me in for this.
Yeah, they got me for a reason, cuh.
It's gonna take him 8 weeks to get a touchdown because Jamal Williams is gonna take all the goal line work.
Yep, absolutely. And by then, Alvin Kamara will be back. And it's just like, oh, fuck me.
Yeah, back to the bench.
Yeah, but that was NFL talk from your NFL lads. And yeah, now it's a Jeff frozen for you. Oh,
I cannot tell. He might be. Maybe he was probably talking about something about like SFU football, right? And then it just like zoomed.
Oh God, stop now! I want to leave. God damn, SFU.
That's why Zoom's just like, hey, no,
that leg was like really bad. I saw you glitching, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna try and like, I'm just gonna sit here until it's over. And I don't know what you guys said at all. I had no idea. So let's just hope it's good things.
It was basically
yeah, we were just plugging our brands. That's all.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Did you talk about a 30-year-old getting drafted to the Rams?
Oh, Stetson Bennett. Oh
Yeah.
well. No, fucking guy.
I like the joke. Somebody's got a running joke. I can't remember who it is on Twitter, but somebody's got a running joke about like, yeah, Stetson Bennett hands the ball off well. He'll be handing them off and like handing you off in your new Kia or whatever. Stetson Bennett Kia.
Oh, that's so funny.
That rocks.
I love that. All right, hey, do you have any more news on the NFL? I can't think of anything at the moment.
That's it. We're ready to wrap it up.
Before I lag anymore and get really annoyed, let's call this. Super long episode, but Ian, thanks for hopping on, buddy. Really appreciate it. Where can the people follow you?
Follow me on Instagram at Ian McNaughton. Again, my laptop not functional, so if I'm going to bring back SYP this summer, I'm probably going to need to get a functional laptop. It would help. Pretty much basically just follow myself. Again, I'm funny on Twitter, except when the manners suck. Then I'm not so funny. Then I'm actually like, somber. It's tough. But yeah, go check me out there. And then, just wait till the silver tips are back. We're in off-season mode. So, waiting for that to come back up.
Love it. Love it. Hayden?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Hayden_Barton. Boom.
You can follow me, Jevin Lefave, on Instagram at Jevin.Lefave, on Twitter at Jevin Lefave. Find everything for the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LeftsideHeavy_. And subscribe to the YouTube, Left Side Heavy. I just got the past 2 episodes up. finally. But yeah, thank you for listening. That was round 2 preview of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And who knows, maybe we'll have the round 3 previews next week. We'll see how these series go for the first week. But thank you for listening as always, and we will see you next time. Peace.